This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Well, welcome back, everyone. And I feel like I should have this section pre-recorded because I say it a lot. And if I would have pressed the button, it would be, we all have things we need to heal from. Okay, now I'm back live again. And I know that sounds kind of harsh. And some say, well, what do you mean heal? I didn't slam my hand in a door. I'm fine. No, in terms of the spiritual side of you, the subconscious side of you, we've lived a life. And along the way, things have transpired. And inherently, there's things you need to heal from, whether you realize it or not. How do you heal from it? How do you feel better? How do you feel unstuck? How do you move your life forward? Part of that is through metaphysics. Part of that is harnessing different healing modalities, one of them being crystals. And we're going to learn all about that today. She is the person behind My Crystal Portal and Healing Center. And it's so great to have her with us. Rochel Rittgers joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Steve. Thanks so much for having me here.
So I am a big fan of crystals, and I've got them all. I've got them here. You got way more than I do around you. But I want to go fundamental here. What's the big deal? What's going on with these crystals? I hear all different things. We have crystals in our body, so they resonate with us and all of that. Enlighten us.
Well, I got into crystals initially because they were pretty, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why a lot of people get into it, is they're pretty and they make people feel happy when you see them, right? But the truth is each crystal has a different frequency, and we are learning, I think, more and more that frequency is really where healing can begin. And so with these crystals, for example, when somebody comes into my store, and they're, having some kind of an issue, some sort of an ailment of some kind, I can help them find the crystal that will vibrate at the level or frequency that will help to unlock the blockage, if we will, in that area of their body so that it will begin to heal on its own. And crystals can provide a frequency like that.
I've heard that, but never dug deep into that. So when you say that, how do you know what frequency? And side note for everyone, everything is energy. It's been proven. Einstein guy talked about it, in the 1940s.
Tesla, yeah.
Oh my God, Tesla. Don't get me started. Right. Amazing. He actually did his experiments 15 minutes away from where I'm sitting.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's actually a small museum there to honor him. But we never listened back in the day to what they were saying in terms of energy. What is it? Vibration. What is frequency? It's a vibration. Rochel, how do we know what the vibration is of different crystals? Or, if it's a clear quartz crystal, do we know that it vibrates about at this frequency, whether it's a 528 or whatever?
Great question, Steve. From a technical standpoint, I am not that person. But from a intuitive standpoint, I am. I can feel the frequency of crystals, and I can tell if it's helping you in the place that it needs to, just based on me feeling you and then me feeling you with the crystal in hand or something like that. So based on geology and, hertz and all of those kinds of things, I'm not that technical wizard, not at all. So
you know what I'm getting? You know what's coming up for me? I just wanted to, the picture. You are a crystal matchmaker. I have matchmakers to match people up together, to single people and whatever. You're like a matchmaker. So does that kind of sound what we're talking about?
I love that. I've not heard that word before, but yes, that really sounds perfect. People will come into my store. I'll ask them if they want me to experience, check into their aura, check into their energy field. to see, where their blockages might be. And they're like, ooh, that's weird. How do you do that? And it's just sort of something that I've developed along the way. And then I say, now I can tell you which crystals will help you. And in general, if people are familiar with the Indian seven chakra system with the colors, the base of our body is red, and then on up there's orange and yellow, and then at our heart level it's green, throat level is blue, at the forehead, third eye level that's purple, and above that is white and gold. So those colors kind of match what the frequencies can be for our bodies, but there's specifics as well. There's generals, and then there's specifics that can go within that.
What are the three crystals you always have on you?
Quartz for sure. That's a magnifier of good energy. So that's really, really awesome. Shungite is another really strong, powerful one because it helps to overcome the electromagnetic field energy that is pulverizing us on a daily basis, moment by moment, really, from our phones, from the Wi-Fi's, all that kind of stuff. And shungite helps to neutralize that energy. And the other one I really like is called lapis lazuli, and that is a blue stone with gold flecks in it. And that one's really helpful for protecting against, errant energies that might be coming at us.
Wow. Some of those crystals, aside from the quartz, and I assume it's a clear quartz like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, those others, I don't recall ever hearing those names.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There's a lot of them that
Interesting.
people really enjoy. Most people get into crystals through amethyst because it's the purple one that's so pretty, but it's
Hmm.
also one of the high spiritual ones. So I really enjoy people getting into that right away because it helps to open their spiritual connection.
How did it begin for you? This whole, these stones that you started as these are pretty, but then you realize that they're life changing. Take us back to the beginning.
Well, it took me a while to try to figure it out, honestly. The first crystal sphere that I got, the first real crystal that I got was an amethyst. It was a crystal amethyst sphere. And then it just morphed into this massive amount of crystals in my home everywhere. But then I started thinking, I grew up in West Bend, Iowa, which is where the world's largest grotto is. And for those that
Wow.
don't know what a grotto is, it's really a sacred building like made out of crystals. Everything is made out of crystals. And so that was sort of my playground growing up. And I think that might have influenced the beginning, even though I didn't realize it until much later.
So you're saying back then that you kind of would hang out around there and you find that this stone, well, this is a pretty one, that's a pretty one, never even realizing what you were actually holding.
Well, we weren't even holding them because they were embedded into the building itself, the structure of the buildings. The walls were made out of petrified wood, and then the designs in the walls were made out of, precious crystals, precious gems from all over the world. And so we were just surrounded by it where we were playing, as children. And so, I was just surrounded by all this beautiful energy that I didn't realize was impacting me in such a large way.
As you in your mind think back to those days of play, did you feel anything, call it a vibration or something that called you to those crystals, not knowing that they have certain vibration?
I, from a cognitive standpoint, I don't think so.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I always was a feely kid. I was very sensitive growing up. And when, disturbance would happen in the home, I would leave and go outside and be outside somewhere by myself.
Hmm.
So from that standpoint, I recognized things energetically, but I didn't recognize it, from being around the crystals in the grotto.
I understand a little bit of what you're talking about in my life, where I've I helped a lot of world famous psychics with their media, put them on the map, names you know. I'm not a psychic connoisseur. It just kind of came that way. And so I started learning about this energy thing along the way. And yeah, say I dipped my toe into it, the vibration, the energy, but never dove in until my mom passed pretty much exactly within a few days, 7 years ago. And then I got it. And doing this work, talking with people like you, where the vibrations are around us. Like she's gone. My relationship, it was always great with her. Even better now. I feel even more connected. And I'll ask for signs. I'll ask for very specific, by the way. And she sends them, and I get them. And there's no denying it. I want to punch a hole in it, but I can't. But that was my wake it up. Energy's around us, even when people aren't here. Their energy is here. And then I started paying more attention to this thing called vibration, crystals, and all of that. And then it came clear. That's kind of what happened at that point. It's pretty amazing once you realize this energy thing, right?
Right. And we call that an awakening moment, awakened soul's
Mm.
journey, if you will, right? Yeah, because we all of a
Mm.
sudden it clicks that it really does mean something big, and it means something big and that we can connect to something that we're not actually looking at, that we're not actually seeing. And it's very meaningful and very powerful for us and can be very healing as well.
1 billion%. And when you feel it and you know it, that's it. There's no turning back. And
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Have a nice day. Be gone with you. It's okay. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. And, if a butterfly goes by and that is a sign for you, wonderful. I need more. I go specific. I get them. But once you start just opening your mind up to this stuff, it really, not only healing, but revelations and all of that. Now, you go way deeper than crystals in terms of a healing center. Tell us about that.
Well, our healing center sort of began after the crystal store. And I opened the crystal store, and after about 4 or 5 months, the rest of the people that were in the building, renting in other parts of the building, literally left and sent me a message saying, "You can have the rest of the building." And I was shocked at the moment, but after, I don't know, a few days of sort of pondering, I'm like, I'm supposed to turn this into a healing center. And so that's what happened. And so we have crystal healing, of course. We have sound healing. We do crystal bowls and we do Tibetan bowls and a variety of other different sound things like gongs. We also have a Rife machine, which is a frequency machine. And we have chakra balancing. So the energy centers in the body, we have a crystal system that we use to balance the chakras, the energy centers. I also am a Qigong master, and so I
Mm.
use energy medicine from a Qigong standpoint to assist people with removing blockages in their body from that standpoint. And I do intensive emotional release work as well because I'm a medical intuitive. I can see and feel what's going on inside of your body. And so I can tell you when you stored things, how old you were, what clothes you were wearing, even when you stored them. And then we can help to lift them out and finally release them so that you can move on your way without the goggles of pain and trauma inside of you.
Okay, when you want to buy crystals, then you go to a shop. I've heard that you should take your hand and run it over the tray of crystals, even if they're all the same. Call it, selenite, whatever the crystal is, and run your hand over it until it resonates or feels warmer over that particular crystal, and that should be the one for you. Does that make sense? Have you ever heard that?
Well, for people that are sensitive, yes, that makes perfect sense. And even if people aren't sensitive, I mean, there's some people who just can't feel anything. Maybe they've been working in the construction industry and they've just used their hands and their body with so much other kinds of vibration that they just can't feel the subtle vibrations, right? And so then our heart tells us as well. You look at something and you feel it from an emotional standpoint, not just from a physical standpoint, right? Not from a hand senses standpoint. And you just look at it and you're like, oh. That's for me. I mean, you've probably been driving down the road before and said, "Oh, I need to stop here," and you don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's that kind of thing. And then you stop there, you look around, you're like, "Why am I here?" And you figure it out along the way. It was something that you wanted, but you didn't know it was in that particular location. And that's the same with crystals.
I just got
Most people will pick out a crystal that's just right for them.
So I just got a memory of a story. This goes back 4 years ago. I was in a crystal shop. I was in Georgia visiting my friend. He's not into crystals for this. He's just into, this is a cool stone. Yeah. So I'm in there and I'm looking around and I see rose quartz. So I pick up rose quartz. My mom's name is Rose. So I come back home and my daughter needed to go to the hospital and semi-serious situation. So I pull into the hospital and they had valet parking. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. I don't normally do it, but I'm like, all right, man, I gotta get into the hospital. And the gentleman, couldn't have been more than like 22, comes over to me. He's going to park the vehicle and says, "Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, fantastic." Like, what are you talking about? He goes, "You have a rose quartz hanging on your rear view mirror. And I love it. I love that idea. I never thought of putting it on the rear view. I had just done it a few hours before myself." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute." I reach into my pocket. I hand him a rose quartz. I said, "I have an extra one here. You take it." I go in to the hospital. I'm going to laser this down now. They tell me they don't have a room for my daughter. And the conditions just, in between, not the greatest. So I vibe my mom, like, "Mom, do something here. Help me out. I mean, we got to find a room for her." Like, they say it could be a day, 2, 30 minutes. And again, no room. 30 minutes later, nurse walks out and says, "Sir, our room's available. We're all good to go." I'm like, "Oh, but wait, I'm getting chills even telling this. Here it is.
Right? I am too.
Here's the cherry on top. It started with that rose quartz.
Yeah.
They assign a nurse to my daughter. The nurse's name was not only Rose, but my mom's maiden name, last name. Can't make it up. And then I see my daughter a little while ago, and I was like, "Oh, Nurse Rose is, taking care of you." And she says, "Yeah, and there's another lady named Rose here too that just works in the hospital and came by as well." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great." You can't. And every thing turned
Thanks,
out
Mom.
fine. Thanks, Mom. I believe it started with that rose quartz and the positive vibration
Yes.
that came from it. I can't. Like, how do you
Absolutely.
punch a hole in that? Like, I got nothing.
No. And those kinds of synchronicities, if you will, happen all the time.
Right.
For most people, we just don't notice them. So it's really fun to hear that because you noticed every morsel along the way and it was so very, very meaningful for you.
I never thought of it that way. They have the term breadcrumbs. There were breadcrumbs along the way.
Yes,
But
yes.
in my journey over the last number of years, I started being more aware and paying attention. And so many of us are on devices, distractions, multiple jobs, blah, 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 blah. We don't see it. I believe
No.
isn't it there? It's all there in front of us. We just don't see it.
It's true. It's true. So my message to people today would be to pay attention to the little messages that you're getting, the little nudges that you get, the little breadcrumbs, like you said, Steve, so that you can really start tapping into, the universe is working for me, or angels or God, however you want to speak to that. It
Hmm.
is working for me, not against me, because a lot of times, we're not recognizing the goodness because we've got so much else going on in our lives, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Your energy is like off the scale amazing.
Thank you.
I feel it. I can really,
Wow.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
just
Thank
saying
you.
that. I
Yeah.
truly feel it. Like there's more. We have a lot to talk about in these podcasts.
It's
there's,
awesome.
so,
Yeah.
there's so many
Yeah.
different things to uncover and share and validate. Your healing center is in Louisiana, right?
Well, it would be if I lived there, but I really live in Iowa. So
Oh,
it's
okay. You know what?
sorry. Yeah.
I thought it was an LA. It's an IA, Iowa. Duh.
Oh, that
On the
makes
screen.
sense. Right. LA. It could have been in LA, Los Angeles too, right? Um, Iowa, it's in Bettendorf, Iowa, literally practically in the Mississippi River. Not quite, but very close. We can see the river from where we are. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
And obviously, if you're within that geo, you can go there for sessions, modalities, and healing. But can
Right.
you work with people virtually anywhere?
Actually, yes. Yes, I've been working with people from a distance. They call it distance healing,
Hmm.
since about 2006, 2007. So, something like that. And it is very easy to tap into the frequency of people. So, for example, I can tell what's going on with you right now, even though you're in New Jersey, right? Is
I'm in
that
New
where you're
York,
at? New
suburb of.
York. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I can feel into your system and feel your energy, even though you're, many states away.
For
Right.
another podcast, I can validate that. I've had it done before and experienced it,
Yes.
and it
Yes.
it works. It works.
Yes.
How do we connect with you?
Well, we are on Facebook, My Crystal Portal. Our website is mycrystalportal.com. We're on Google, My Crystal Portal, and our phone number to reach us at the store and the healing center is 563-344-3333.
I'm going to say these words, and they've been said before, but, and I don't want to sound robotic, but it's very heartfelt. It is a pleasure meeting you. I really
Oh,
mean that. There's,
yeah.
you got so much going on in what you do, and again, your energy. Very much looking forward next time we get together.
Oh, it'll be my pleasure too, Steve. Your connection, I can feel that as well. And I love the story about your mom that just really opened you up in a big way. And so it's fun. It's fun to be having this conversation for
Yep.
sure.
Can't make that stuff up. I speak from the heart.
I know,
All
right?
right. We'll
Yeah.
we'll talk soon. Thank you.
That sounds good. Have a blessed
Hey,
day.
you too.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.